Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby, if you are not familiar with me, and I love to talk all things personal finance, organization, and lifestyle. Today's video is going to be the June reset. What the F? What the literal F? We are halfway through 2025. I cannot believe it. That actually reminds me, I really need to do a goal check-in for 2025. I was trying to do quarterly goal check-ins for this year and I have been off my goal game. I have a lot going on in the background, so we've just been a little bit busy, but I definitely want to do a mid-year goal check-in. 100% I want to, because I feel like I need to get myself excited for my goals, but that is beside the point. Welcome to the June financial reset video. We're gonna be resetting all things money for the month of June. We're gonna be diving deep into my budget for the month of May. We're also gonna be setting a budget for the month of June. I also have a very exciting announcement. I finally can tell you guys what has been going on in the background. I think I've been dropping little hints for months at this point, and I can finally announce what's going on to you guys, and it's going to be very relevant to my budget for the month of June and onwards. So that is very exciting. But yeah, if you are new here, I will give you a little rundown on who I am. Obviously, my name is Gabby. I'm 30 years old. I live in Vancouver, Canada for the next few weeks. And I love talking all things personal finance. As I mentioned, I love having these monthly resets where I go through my budgets in detail. I currently live with my boyfriend. We share a 1-bedroom apartment here. We have 2 cats. I'm fully employed. I have a full salary job, so most of my income comes from that, but I started a side hustle, YouTube, and selling digital products last year, and it has become a very substantial portion of my income at this point. So you will see how much I make from my social media income in this video, obviously. I am a very financially responsible person, I would say, but I'm by no means frugal. So what I really like to show on my channel is not only being responsible with your money and doing the right thing with your money, but also enjoying your money. What is the point of making money if not to enjoy it? We are only on this earth once, and I truly believe that as long as you are making good financial choices, as long as you're putting a certain percentage aside every single paycheck for your future and for your future goals, I think that the rest is sort of up to you and what you believe in and what you want to spend your money on. And that is a point I love making here. I think personal finance, especially for women, can get very frugal forward, or you need to consume less and smack on the wrist because you're spending too much money. And I am here to show you that, you know, if you want to make more money, if you want to work really hard, you also deserve to enjoy your money. And I will never apologize for that. I have some housekeeping items we need to talk about. So let's do the announcement. Let's do the very big, exciting announcement. Okay, guys, I am moving. We are moving. And we're not moving a couple blocks away. We are moving to Alberta. I am moving home to Calgary for at least somewhere in the ballpark of 6 to 8 months. We don't want to be there long term. This is not a long-term move. This is a personal, familial decision. It has to do with my family and what's going on at home and needing to be home to be closer to some family members at a certain time. So that is what's going on for me. We are moving to Calgary and I have a lot of feelings about it. I think it was my 2025 financial video where I was like, we really want to take this whole year to just enjoy our lower rent and save up some money, and we had no plans on moving. And in March things started to change and we have made the decision to move. This apartment is officially not ours come July 1st. So it's happening. It's happening soon, you guys. This is all changing quite a bit. Do we have a new apartment? No, we do not. But the market in Calgary seems to be really good. There's lots of options available to us, so I'm not super concerned about it. We're just trying to find the right fit. We will both be keeping our jobs and working remotely 100% of the time. So we do need to find a space that's big enough for us to both coexist and work from home. So that is like the priority right now, is definitely finding a new place. And that is going to be a big item in my budget this month that we're going to talk about. Obviously there's moving costs and all of that associated with moving as well. And it's not cheap. So that's going to be a big item for the budget. And I will talk totally more about it as we go through. I'm super excited for moving content and all that stuff, but I will say the likelihood of me having a July reset couple of videos is very low because we will be moving right July 1st. I expect that there won't be a reset video for July or videos for July, so I do apologize for that. If by some grace of God I decide that I'm able to put some sort of video out for that, it'll be a bonus video, but I just wanted to let you guys know that this is likely the last reset video until August. Wow, that's actually crazy. Okay, next up for housekeeping items, I did want to let you guys know that I updated my Notion tracker. The Notion tracker I use for all of my organization I have fully updated so it matches my version. So I had a 2024 Notion tracker. I used a very similar version of it. And then in 2025, I updated mine and changed the layout. I let you guys know that it was just like formatting and I added a couple of things here and there. But a lot of you guys were curious if I could update the original one, and it is updated. So if you go to the link that you get with purchase, you have unlimited access to that link, and it comes with lifetime updates. So if I change it in the future again, you will have access to that. So if you previously downloaded the Notion tracker and you want the new version, you can just go back and re-download it. It's no additional cost to you guys. I just wanted to update that for you guys. So that is updated. I am also currently working on my net worth tracker. I'm going to separate the net worth tracker that was in the 2025 budget tracker. If you are new here, I sell digital products on Etsy, and the budget tracker that I'm going to be using today, I will leave in the description box down below. You can download it. It comes with a net worth tracker. A lot of people mention that they have their own means of budgeting and they just wanted the net worth tracker. So I am separating that, and I will be selling that on likely Etsy. I'm not sure. I have been thinking about moving away from Etsy, but the effort to go back and like update all of my links in my previous videos is holding me back from it. So we shall see. I might switch up where I'm selling my digital products, but I will let you guys know as soon as it's done if you want to download that. So that is on its way. I think we can finally get into the budgeting portion of today's video. Thank you for listening to me ramble about these housekeeping items. You guys, I always wonder what my cats think about me. Like, do they think that I'm a crazy lady who talks to herself, or do they assume that all humans talk to themselves in front of a camera? On screen is my 2025 digital tracker. What? On the screen is my 2025 budget tracker. This is the one that I mentioned that I sell on Etsy. I will leave it in the description box down below. When you go to that link, there's going to be a green version. That was the 2024 version as well. Also an amazing tracker. A lot of people like the color scheme of that one a lot better. There are just some key updates in the 2025 one. This one, you're allowed to deduct from your savings account. In the previous one, you didn't have the flexibility to do that. And you can also use the savings income table so that you can take money out of your savings account and pay yourself from your savings account so that your budget isn't all screwed up. So that's like one of the main updates. And then obviously the net worth tracker is also new. So those are all of the updates. I had some questions on what are the differences between the two. So those are the differences. And you can definitely check out the Etsy. There should be like photos and a description. And there's also videos for both that I have here on my channel. So if you're curious on more information, always check those out. Okay, and this is the May budget. May was a great month for income. Obviously a 3 paycheck month is always going to be good for income. So I had 3 pay cycles happen in the month of May. And then I also had a decent month with my side hustle income. So total income for the month was $15,000. Crazy. I love that. Some of this I will say is like bonus income that I was just owed, like people paying me back for stuff that I paid for. So not all of this is like 100% income, but still great. Also, I got my tax return. That's another big portion of this as well. So that pays into this as well. We'll talk about the tax return. Expenses, I spent $42.94, which is actually really good for me. I'm usually over $5,000 every month, and I felt like it was sort of an expensive month, but it worked out. Savings, I put $3,500 into my savings. This is higher than my normal amount because of my tax return. I did save and invest my entire tax return, so that's why this is higher, and then so is my investments from the tax return, and then also the 3 pay cycles. I have an automatic savings and an automatic investment set up. So every single time I get paid, $300 gets taken out of my account and it goes into my savings account. I have a high yield savings account with Wealthsimple, which I will leave in the description box down below, a referral link. You guys will get $25 when you sign up and put at least $1 in your account. I absolutely love Wealthsimple. If you're in Canada, it's like my #1 top tier banking platform. I use it for absolutely everything. It is now my main bank for my money as well, like checking. That's where I get paid from my 9 to 5, and cannot say enough good things about Wealthsimple. Investments, I invested $4,300. This is also an automatic deposit, so $1,000 gets deposited every single time I get paid. I actually have just increased this to $1,100. This is something I like to do, is just trial putting up my automatic deposits a little bit higher and just seeing if it hurts, seeing if I notice it. Because sometimes you like do yourself a disservice by depositing too little, and I think that over time you kind of adapt to an increase in this sort of thing. So I have just turned it up, but for most of the month I was depositing $1,000. Then we have the credit, which is just paying my credit cards off from last month. I do not use credit cards to build like debt. I use it as a cash account basically. So I am charging all of my purchases to my credit card, and then I'm paying my full bill my statement balance before the due date every single time. I never pay interest. But if you're kind of curious why like the expenses are super high and then the credit is also high, this is like I'm paying back what I owed last month, but then all of my expenses were put back onto credit cards this month. So it's kind of like you're just paying it a little bit later. Up at the top here, we have all of our account balances. These are all of my cash account balances. Currently have about 2,000 in my Wealthsimple checking. It says I have negative in my PayPal, but I don't. So I don't know what that's about. I need to check that. And then I have all of my savings accounts here. These are all of my sinking funds. I have more that don't fit here, but these are like the main ones. One for my car, one for my cats. My personal flex fund is for just like fun spending whenever I want to buy something fun. Weddings, going to weddings, maybe a future wedding. Holidays, this is for Christmas and gifts for birthdays throughout the year. Travel fund, this is obviously for travel. And then I have a couple other ones as well. My credit account balances, this is where all of my credit cards currently sit. I have a couples credit card with my boyfriend. This is like what I owe for our couples card, but that would be sitting closer to about the $1,200 balance right now. And I didn't overpay my credit card, so I don't know what is on there. I'd have to check that out. Okay, let's talk about the 50, 30, 20 split. So this is one of my favorite visuals in this budget tracker that I love to look at every single month. And this splits off your wants, needs, and savings, or you can think about it as your fixed, your variable expenses, and then your savings rate. So my savings rate was 65.8%, and that is fabulous. I like to invest 30% of my pay, but I also like to save. So I'm aiming for 30% plus for sure, usually like 35, 40, somewhere in that ballpark. And obviously with the tax return this month, that definitely like drove up my savings rate, which we love. And then I spent a little bit more than my needs. I spent a little bit more on wants than needs. And that is because I do have like low rent, low bills, which is fabulous. I love spending my money on things that I actually want to spend my money on and not overspending on things like rent, cars, all that jazz. 100% progress towards my savings and my investment goals. Most of my money went expenses wise to groceries and then to clothes and then to travel. We'll talk about the clothes. Investment split, most of my money went into my retirement account because you guys, I finally maxed out my FHSA. This is actually quite incredible. I have maxed out my TFSA and I have maxed out my FHSA. So now I am working on maxing out my RRSP. One of my goals for 2025 is to finally max out my RRSP. I've never done that before because I prioritize my TFSA and my FHSA every single year. So I try to max those out first. And once those are done, I usually want to move on to maxing out my RRSP. I think I'm allowed to deposit like $35,000 or something like that. If I remember correctly from when I did my taxes, I need to keep an eye on that because I could definitely surpass that this year and I need to be cautious around that. If you are not aware of all of these accounts, basically the RRSP is like a retirement account here in Canada. The FHSA is the first home savings account here, and it is a double whammy tax advantage account. So you don't pay tax on your gains, and it's also tax deferred. So you lower your taxable income for every year. So you usually get a bigger tax return, or you can lower the amount of taxes you owe. And then the TFSA is just a no tax paid on your gains account, which is an amazing account. Okay, spending by date. Looks like I had some big jumps on May 9th. May 9th, I bought clothes. May 22nd, I bought flights. And then obviously when I paid my rent. So I do love seeing this, like where the big spikes are and, you know, keeping an eye on things. You don't want to, you know, be jumping the whole friggin' month. Let's move in to the budget tables. I budgeted to take money out of my savings accounts for what I spent last month because I'm paying my credit cards off. I usually like to look at what I spent last month and where I'm taking money out of my sinking funds. I did not need to do this because I have quite a bit of money left over from the end of the month. So you can see here, I have about $1,800 left over from this month's income. So I didn't want to take money out of my sinking funds for no reason. I tried not to do that. I was like, oh, if I'm gonna use something that I intended my sinking funds for, I want to use it. But then I was also just depositing money here in my savings accounts because I have automatic deposits that it was just kind of getting confusing. I was just putting money away and then moving it back. So I didn't need to, and I didn't do it. Let's go into income. So obviously we had a 3 paycheck month. My income from my salaried role is $26.54 every 2 weeks. So we had paycheck number 3 right here. Oh, I might need to get some water. My throat's dry. 1 second. So yeah, this is the 3rd paycheck here. We love that. The bonus money is what I was talking about, how I was being paid for things that I originally paid on my credit card and I'm being paid back. So I still pay for 2 of my family members' phone bill and they just transfer me their portion. And we didn't do that for like 2 months back to back. So I think I got like $400 from them or something like that. And then I also paid for takeout Thai food for me and my girlfriends. Why did I say it like that? I paid for Thai food for my friends and then they transferred me their portion as well. well. Etsy, I budgeted around $13.51. I don't know why that was so, oh, you know what it is I always do this. Once I know exactly how much I've made from my side hustle income, I like to match the budget column to that number. And then that way over here, when I go to my business taxes, I have a formula set up here so that I know exactly how much money I should be putting away for business taxes. I put away 30% of everything I make from my side hustle so that just in case I don't have to owe money and then I don't have it. So that's why that's so specific. And then I made $845 from my Google AdSense or YouTube AdSense. This is from YouTube. This is from you guys watching my videos, and 845 is always a great number to see. Gumroad, I made $145. This is for my Notion template I was mentioning. So as mentioned, that will be linked down below. My tax return was $2,944. I thought I was going to be making about $3,800 when I first did my taxes, but I'd messed something up with the common law situation me and David are in. So I only got $2,944, which is still great. Can't be mad. I didn't owe anything, especially with the side hustle income I made. So I can't be mad at all. And then I have alternate business income. So this is like commissions. If I do a sponsorship, this is the other business income that I just doesn't fall into the other categories. So I made $591 there. Let's go to expenses. So I was really trying my best to stay below my grocery budget this month, which was much lower than the last month. I think I spent like $670 in April. So I was really trying to lower this quite a considerable amount. We're $50 over, but I am actually going to take that as a win because I feel like we did make a lot of progress. And we did also, I made like a couple of impulsive purchases of like protein powders, which should have bulked this up quite a bit. So that makes me feel like for the rest of the month, we were very like intentional with our groceries. I bought our good protein that we love. And I also bought the super jelly boba, the like amazing flavor protein. I bought 2 of those as well. So I was expecting to be quite a bit over, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised that this number is not that much over. I had some additional costs here for transportation because I was driving to Kelowna, which is like a 4-hour drive. So that's usually like a full tank of gas. So I thought I was gonna have to fill up twice, but my dad was such a nice guy and he filled up my car for me. So I spent like a typical amount, a little bit more than a typical amount on transportation. Eating out, I budgeted $150 and I was under at $123. Fabulous, never mad about that. Coffee, I was over. You guys have probably watched my coffee budget just go up and up and up and up every single month because I have become addicted to a coffee shop near my house's Americano Mistos. I've mentioned this many, many times now in my vlogs and stuff. I'm so obsessed with Nemesises. The place is called Nemesis. Their Americano Mistos with the oat milk is just something else. It's just the best coffee I've ever had in my whole entire life. And I wish I could say that I'm apologetic about this number being this high, but I'm not. I thought that this was high because we got 2 rounds of Nespresso because I ordered a batch of Nespressos and then the pistachio vanilla and the coconut came out. So then I ordered another round because I couldn't wait to get the other round of Nespresso pods. But I realized that the first batch, we had a credit on our account that we paid for in April. So that was actually just like $10. So I think most of this budget has been spent on the Nemesis coffees and I'm not mad about it. This is like my new vice and I will never apologize for having the most delicious coffee 2 to 3 times a week. Drinking, I only spent $35 on drinking and cannabis. Go off, sis. Yeah, I've been barely drinking, which has been super nice. I feel much better and obviously saving some money. Clothes, I spent $800. Yeah, you guys. And I think I did it in the same day. I think it was May 9th. Yeah. I think if you watched my April reset video, I had an Aritzia haul in one of those. So this is partially that. And then the other portion, actually no, I think this was a different Aritzia haul. Oh, this is the second Aritzia haul. I returned a bunch of items from that original haul and then I added new items because I like wanted to swap some items. So this is that second order. I think that was like $275 from Aritzia. And then I spent $900 at Lululemon. I got carried away for sure. Returned a bunch of items, but still spent $500 and something. 150 of that was an item that I wasn't able to return because it was on sale. So I got a gift card. I didn't keep $500 worth of Lululemon. I kept like $350 of Lululemon. I'm trying to make this feel better, but it was a lot on clothes. But you know what? As I mentioned, I'm not that mad about it. I really enjoy spending my money on clothes. It's something I love. I love expressing myself with clothing. I need to be a little bit better about not just buying clothes. I really need to invest in better accessories. Like I really need shoes for summertime. I've been wearing 2 different pairs of sneakers for almost every single outfit every single day. So I really want to invest in this category in shoes in the future and then maybe some other accessories. Beauty was super low. Happy with that, especially because we had the Sephora VIB sale last month. So I really wanted to see this value go down. Spent half of my budget. Fantastic. Fun. Had a little bit of a higher budget here because we went golfing. So I think that is like 1 round of golf. I paid for a Patreon account because I found a Patreon account that has all of the thrown Throne of Glass books, the audiobooks on one account. So I think I think it's like $9 a month for the Patreon account. So I was like, if I can finish at least 2 books in the same month, then it's a deal compared to like buying them on Audible. And then also I did a painting pottery class with my friends. Painted some pottery. I think I have to pick that up actually shortly here. And that was like $68. It's quite expensive, but you actually I got to keep like a really cute mug, and I painted it myself. So I'm excited to receive that item. The boys are my cats. I spent $185, so only $10 over budget here. I'm not super upset with that. This category is a little bit high because I had to get a pet sitter when I was away for May long weekend, and that was $85 that I spent from my actual cash accounts, my like online accounts, and then I had $80 cash. So I think it was $165 total. I think there was an additional fee for a holiday Monday. It was a little bit expensive, but my cats were very happy and comfortable, and I'm not mad about that. Health, I spent just under my budgeted value at $46. Can't remember what this was. Okay, and then home, $113 spent here. I couldn't remember what this was, but me and David went to the Bay. He had to get a suit for his convention he was going to for work, and the Bay here in Canada is like one of our major department stores that's been around for forever, and it was closing and they were in liquidation, and we decided to invest in some new towels. Our towels have been kind of mildewy. I don't know why. We wash them frequently, and I've been trying to use like OxyClean that gets like the mildew smell out, but I couldn't get it out, and they were just kind of getting really gross and grimy, and we kind of lowballed on the first purchase of towels. So we wanted to just invest in good towels, and I'm really, really happy with them. They're like gigantic and they're so plushy, and it just feels like a hug. So I'm very, very happy we invested in those. I think those were like $90 or something like that. And then I think there was a couple of like cleaning supplies purchases in here as well. Miscellaneous, we spent $85. I think this is like some random items, like some Amazon random purchases. Also, if my boyfriend spends on anything on our couples card and I don't like recognize it, I'll just throw it here, because we usually just split it down the middle. Like, we're not fussed. There's definitely stuff I buy that's I only really use on there, where we're very much like consider our money more of a unit, and we're not gonna like question each other about every single charge. So I usually just throw random purchases in this category and call it good. And then travel, I think I knew I was gonna be buying flights because we are gonna be flying to Calgary when we move, because we have 2 cats obviously, so we're gonna be flying our cats. And I also knew that we likely would be flying to Kelowna for my sister's birthday weekend just before we move. So I knew we were gonna be buying a decent amount of flights. It was more than I expected though. It was $500. This was because I had to add a checked bag to our flight, and we also had to pay a $50 fee for getting the cats on the plane. So it kind of all added up to a little bit more than I was expecting, but that's totally good. I have a travel sinking fund, so if next month I need to pull from there, I'm not upset. And then donations, I budgeted about $120 and I spent $102. I think this was split between the BC SPCA and then also Save the Children for Gaza. I wanted to donate there. I've been seeing such horrific stuff, and it makes me sick. Bills and subscriptions. My rent is $11.25 every single month. This is my last rent payment in this apartment, so I'm gonna be so sad, you guys. As much as me and David have really felt like we've outgrown this apartment, we've been really itching for more space. There's so many good memories here. It's also the first place we've ever lived together, the 2 of us, so there's a lot of emotions. I'm gonna be sad, honestly. And then our internet's like 60, 61 every month, split down the middle. Ren is a climate initiative I pay for, where they invest in green initiatives to help lower your carbon footprint. It's like you take a quiz and you figure out your carbon footprint, and you can decide how much of your carbon footprint you want to offset by investing in green initiatives, and they give you reports by email on all the stuff that's happening with your money. So you just, call it like saviorism. It just makes you feel a little bit better about all of the damage I do in flying and driving and stuff. Then next we have my couple's Amex charge. So this is for the Amex Cobalt here in Canada. It's a $12.99 fee every single month. That's our couple's card, so we split it down the middle. And then I was paying for Audible, but I have paused it because I've been doing the Patreon situation for listening to the Throne of Glass series. Okay, savings. Most of this is, I have $300 every paycheck that comes out, so that automatically gets saved. So I usually just split it up between my sinking funds however I see fit. All of my savings go into one high yield savings account, and the way that I manage where the money sits in between different sinking funds is just by using my budget tracker. I don't actually physically separate the money, because you can see I have so many savings accounts, and I used to do that, and then I just got it really annoying to deal with. So I like just dumping it all in the same account, and then I track how much money is in those accounts by using this budget tracker. I did want to cover though what I split up my tax return in between, so we can scroll down here and have a look. I changed the colors. Okay, Okay, so when I got my tax return, I ended up putting $1,200 into my retirement account. I put $500 into my emergency fund. I used my emergency fund last year. I had an issue with some flights and I have been trying to just build it back up. I have a lot of money in savings, so I'm not super worried about not having a full emergency fund, but I liked my emergency fund to sit around 15 grand, somewhere in that ballpark. And I think it's like 13 right now. So I had extra money and I figured I should dump it there. My car fund is for where I pay for car maintenance and also my car insurance from. I am due to pay for my car insurance in the beginning of June. So I do like to add a little bit more money starting now, just so that there isn't like $200 in there just in case my car breaks down. My cat fund is obviously for my cats. I don't pay for pet insurance. I just consistently put money into a sinking fund for them. And then hopefully if anything were to happen in the future, we have money set aside specifically for that. And then I also have my emergency fund. Travel fund, I am specifically saving for a trip. We have a wedding this fall in Mexico, so that is where that money is going to. We're also planning a trip for early 2026 to South America, so I'm gonna be bulking up this account in the next coming months. Wedding fund, this is to going to weddings, all of that. I do like to add money consistently there. Holiday fund, this is my Christmas fund. I haven't been adding money to it because I didn't end up pulling money from it at the end of last year. I didn't need to with the money I had coming in. So I have almost a completely full Christmas fund, but I am using this fund for lots of birthdays coming up. David's birthday is coming up. Lots of my friends all have birthdays in the like 3 weeks of each other. So I did want to add some money there. And then the remainder of everything that was left, I put into my personal long-term fund. I will be using this fund for our move. So any sort of moving expenses that we need, my money will be coming from here. So I have been bulking this up over the last few months, especially after I found out we were going to move. Okay, that is everything I wanted to talk about for savings. Investments, as I mentioned, it was $1,000 every single paycheck. So that was 3 paychecks. So that was $3,000, and then the $1,200 from my tax return. So that came out to $4,300. Oh, and I mentioned that I added $100 to my automatic deposit. So my last paycheck that happened yesterday, I did $1,100 instead of my typical $1,000. That's why there's like the extra $100 there. Credit cards, I just pay what I owe on my statement balance. That's how I manage my credit cards. I'm not really one to like, start fresh with $0 on my card every single month. I just pay my statement balance, and I make sure if I have a really high month that I maybe throw a little bit extra money on there. I do sometimes pay them, every 2 weeks or whatever if the balance is getting too high. But yeah, I think I owed a lot of money in April because I spent very much a lot of money in April. So, okay, let's move on to June. So because we have the move, I definitely have a very expensive month coming up here. So we will talk about it. Savings income, I put down $200 for personal flex, and that was for, what was that for? I don't remember, maybe it'll come back to me. And then personal long-term, I took out $700, and this is for potentially furniture we need to buy when we move. We really wanted to find a furnished apartment for a short-term move, a 6 to 8 month move. We have cats though, and that is just not something that usually overlaps, is furnished with pet allowance. So we are gonna be moving into an empty apartment. We are not bringing much furniture. As I said, we were flying. I do have like my car is gonna be driven to Kelowna, and then I have a family member that's gonna be driving it back from Kelowna to Calgary. So I will have the ability to bring whatever fits in one car, but we do not obviously have space for furniture. So we are gonna be buying all new furniture. I'm gonna be doing bougie on a budget, furnishing an apartment for as little money as humanly possible. Lots of Facebook Marketplace coming up here, so I'm excited for that. Yeah, I estimate we'll need at least $700 worth of stuff just to get started in the new place, and then in July we'll probably be adding to that quite a bit. Typical paycheck, I like to under budget a little bit. I should be getting more money back starting July because I won't be paying for parking at my office. It won't be a huge increase, but it will be something. Etsy, I estimated about $1,200. AdSense, I already know I'll be making about $1,500, and then Gumroad, I estimated about $100. I always like to lowball these numbers just so that I don't over budget. Okay, let's go into expenses. Budget for groceries. I thought that $500 seemed reasonable because obviously we'll be doing lots of moving and stuff like that. So I will be probably spending a little bit more money on eating out and takeout. So I put $300 in that category, and we're gonna keep $500 here. Transportation, $250. I don't think there should be anything too crazy. Obviously I will be driving out to Kelowna again, so that will likely be a full tank of gas. I will also be giving my sister gas money for her drive back to Calgary with my car. So I will likely need to pay for quite a bit of gas. So I actually am reconsidering this. I'm gonna go $325 actually. Coffee, I said about $100. Just want to bring this down a little bit just so we have a little bit more room for other categories in the budget, but I'm also not about to drop my nemesis habit before we leave because that is the thing I'm probably gonna miss the most. No, that's a total lie. All of my friends and stuff. That is so rude. But I am gonna miss the Nemesis coffees, I'm not gonna lie. Drinking and cannabis, I, would probably have a couple of outings with friends to say goodbye, things like that. My typical amount, $75 is there. Clothes, I definitely dropped this down just because I did spend quite a bit last month and I don't want to spend too much. I do just remember though, these pants that I'm wearing, these new linen pants from Aritzia, they were out of stock. So they just came into stock and then they sent it to me once they came into stock. I ordered these a while ago, but Aritzia does it where they don't actually charge you until the pants get sent. I think that I've already spent like $130 this month strictly there. And I do want to pay at least a couple of pairs of shoes, at least one pair. I need sandals. I literally don't have sandals. I'm too cheap to buy shoes, but I'll buy like $1,000 worth of clothes a month. You know what I mean? Beauty, I have my Botox appointment. I need to also buy a new brow marker from NYX. So I think $375 should be okay. And then I won't want to spend too much more there. Fun, I put $200 just because I want to have flexibility with, seeing my friends as much as humanly possible before we leave. Golfing, all the things we enjoy doing here. I want to make sure I have room for my budget for that. And I never feel bad about this category because, I have to live. And those are the memories I'm going to hold in the future. It's not going to be like me sitting in my apartment. The cat's budget is, sorry about the noise. I'm so sorry if you can hear that. I have to keep going. The boys are my cats and I increased the budget quite a bit because their pretty litter, I'm pretty sure, is going to be needing to be repurchased. Did they knock a building down? What was that? Okay, moving on. We also need to get flight appropriate carriers for them. Right now we have like pretty big soft carriers for them, but they definitely have regulations around how big of a carrier can go on a plane. So we do need to purchase, I think, one for each of them. So that's probably gonna be like $100 at least right there. Health, I also am out of one of my supplements that I really need to repurchase and it's quite expensive. It's about $90. And then I left myself a little bit of extra room if I need anything else. Gifts, I have 2 birthdays in June. I have a lot in July as well. So I think about $100 per person makes sense here. Home, I put about $600. This is for furniture. This is what I meant. Did I say $700 for furniture? I meant $600 for furniture. I think there's just going to be a couple of things we desperately will need. I think a couch is a big one. I'm hoping to find a like barely used couch on Marketplace. I don't know. Is that disgusting? I really don't want to buy a new couch for 6 to 8 months. We'll see. We will cross that bridge when it comes. But yeah, this could be considerably higher. Also, we'll be splitting furniture. So this could be like us spending $1,200 total and then splitting it down the middle. What are they doing out there? I cannot believe this. Okay, travel. I don't have any like concrete $300 for travel that I need here, but I think with moving, it's just best to give yourself a lot of extra room. So I put that there. Donations, I'm just gonna keep it to my typical 40 that I donate every month to the BCSPCA. And then moving. This category is for $100 for the U-Haul moving supplies we ordered. We ordered $200 worth of moving supplies like boxes, paper wrap, TV covers. All of our stuff that's in this apartment is actually going to be stored in David's parents' basement. Luckily, they were being super kind and letting us store stuff there so we don't have to pay for a storage locker, but we are moving all of our furniture out of this apartment, obviously, and into their place. And I want to make sure everything is good to sit for 6 to 8 months and not, get damaged. So we bought lots of moving stuff. Also $80 for the U-Haul itself. I think that's like $160 seems to make sense for our move. It's not that far. And then I put $1,250 for a new rental deposit. So usually when you move in a new place, you need to put down a half or a full month's rent. So then my half of that would be the $1,250. Also, our budget for our new Calgary place is about $2,500 per month. So that's what we're looking at for a 2-bedroom. 2 to 3 bedroom. So my rent actually will go up, which is funny because Calgary is known to be like cheaper than Vancouver, but we are increasing the size of our space. So yeah, and then also obviously a pet deposit. We here had to put down both a regular safety deposit and then a pet deposit on top of that. So I just wanted to budget for that scenario. We will get back the safety deposit, pet deposit from this place, but I think there's a 2-week window. Our landlord's allowed to hold it before he gives it to us. So I won't be getting that until July. Then I put $1,250 for our new rent. I think that's like the upper limit of what we want to pay in Calgary. So hopefully it'll be less than this, but maybe not. Who knows? I also have my car insurance coming up this month. That's why it's also going to be an expensive month. So my car insurance from last year was $1,267. We'll see if it goes up. Should I budget for more? Let's budget $1,350. I don't think it's intended to go up. I didn't get any tickets or anything like that. So it might just be inflationary at that point. And then I have here 30% of my business income for my taxes. I like to put 5% into my business save account as well, everything I make from my side hustles. So this could go up depending on how much money I make. And then the rest of this is just that typical $300 that I spend every single month that is an automatic savings in my account. So putting more money into the personal long-term just in case, and then splitting it between the other accounts as I need it. Then I also wanted to push myself to invest a little bit more than my typical 1,000, or I guess the 1,100 that I typically invest every single paycheck now. I wanted to see if we could do $300 extra and do a total of $2,500 invested. And we shall see how that pans out with the cost of moving and everything like that. I might be under budgeting for this move. I hope I'm not. That was the intention, is to over budget and then be pleasantly surprised. But I'm sure there's things I'm not thinking about right now. Credit cards, I had a pretty low credit card bills due, so nothing spent on my Neo. I only owed about $600 for our couples card, and as of right now I only need to pay about $1,500 onto my Visa. That could definitely go up as I start to put money and expenses from this move onto my card. I might just want to pay them off immediately just so that I don't have a super high bill in July. But yeah, okay guys, I think that is everything for this video. Super excited you guys finally know about the little secret that's been going on in the background. I'm excited to share everything to do with the move coming up here. So there's gonna be lots of moving vlogs, lots of decluttering before we move. I think if you notice, I've been decluttering a lot and that's because I was expecting us to move. So this is where we're definitely gonna have to be boots to the ground, decluttering every waking moment outside of YouTube. I also just wanna say the likelihood of me being able to put out as much content as I have been is going to be much, much lower. So of course, if you don't see a video from me every single week, or you know, maybe if there's 2 weeks in a row where I don't post, I'm fine. I'm just stressed out of my mind because we're moving. So I appreciate your patience, and I'm excited to see you guys when I do see you, because I love this little family. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Definitely give this video a like if you liked it, and consider subscribing. And then also you should do the notification bell so you can see my videos right away when they come out. I really would appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.